What's up, guys? It's your boy Eminem. It's Monday morning. This is your treadmill motivation. Hope you guys had an awesome weekend. I hope you guys had a chance to get your praise on. Hope you had a chance to spend some good time, good quality time with your family and your loved ones. Hey, it's a good day. It's Monday. You made it through the weekend. Glad to see that you guys made it. Appreciate you guys coming in. Please share, please share, please share, please share. Share with your friends, share with your loved ones. Share with those that you don't like. But anyway, we've been talking about 8 vital keys of knowing God's will. And like I said, the one thing that we can settle this is by saying, thy will be done. What does that mean? That's saying that you're giving up your control, you're giving up your will, you're giving up your attitude, you're giving up what you want to do, and you're saying to God that, God, it's your will that will be done in my life. It's your will that should be done in my life, not my will, because I don't have a good will. My will is detrimental. My will is fleshy. My will is carnal. But because of God's will, Robin, what's happening? It's God's will, it's not our will. So, with that, let's recap on what we've been talking about. 8 vital keys to knowing God's will. Now, those of you that are coming in for the first time, I appreciate you guys coming in. Big EB, what's up, man? Appreciate you guys coming in. Appreciate you guys checking me out. Because this ain't about me, but it is about me sharing a good word with you on today. I know you had a great day on yesterday. I know you're not trying to find no more teaching, no more preaching, right? This is all about motivation. This is about motivating spiritually, motivating naturally, motivating mentally, motivating intellectually, motivating in a way that moves you from here to there and from there to the future. Like I said, I'm not no guru. I'm not trying to be no guru. I don't even like the term guru. You know, guru is just like you're supposed to know everything. You just got it all going on for yourself. Nah, I'm just a messenger. 8 vital keys while we working out today, while some of y'all relaxing, some of y'all chilling, some of y'all sitting, you know, having a cup of coffee, you know, doing what you do on Monday morning, you know, gathering your thoughts from the weekend. You know, whether you had an awesome business weekend or you had an awesome ministry weekend, whatever it was, I know that it was awesome. I know that it was grand. But 8 keys to knowing God's will in your business, in your ministry, in your life, in your family. It's very important that you have these keys. The first one was, we'll kind of go back and catch up for today. We need to walk with God. That's imperative if you want to know what God's will is. You got to walk with him. How do you know someone? You walk with them for a while. You get to know them. You get acquainted with them. This is in knowing what God's will is for your life. And we all want to know what God's will is for our life. We want to know what God's plan is for our lives. How do we do that? The second one is you must surrender your will to God's will. Surrender your will to God's will. You see, when you want to have control, I hear people say, I'm not very controlling, but I like to be in control. That's funny. They say, I'm not a controlling person, but I like to be in control. And it's like, God needs to be in control. God needs to be the captain of your vessel, guiding you and leading you and directing you in the right ways that he desires for you to be in. Okay? Number 3 was, you have to obey what you already know to be God's will. You have to obey what you already know to be God's will. What do you know about God's will already? What have you learned over your short life what God's will is for you? And then obey that will that God has for you. If it's a work that God has called you to do, a ministry that God has called you to do, are you being obedient to his call? Are you being obedient to his will? Are you being obedient to what it is that God has designed you specifically for? You've been created. You've been designed. You've been made in such a way and so creatively for the work that God has already purposed in your life that no one else can fill that spot. No one else can fill that job but you. That's how, when I say unique, that's how unique we all are, because we've been created for one purpose in life and no one else can fulfill that purpose but us. That's job security. So you have to be obedient. You have to obey what you already know to be God's will in your life. And once we receive Christ in our lives by faith, I said this on Friday, that once we receive Christ by faith, we are made as God's children. We become his children. We become a part of his family. And it really disturbs me in a spiritual way. It disturbs me how so many organizations, so many religious sects, so many those that consider themselves spiritual or churchy, they spend more time debating and trying to convince people that their way is the only way. There's only one way, and that's the way of God. That's the only one way of Christ. All these man-made religions, all these man-made structures and theological aspects of life, we have to be careful with. We have to be careful with putting ourselves in front of God's will. You know, it's like this. God's desire when he created man was for man to worship him and serve him, right? Ultimate goal, for us to be servants of God, for us to worship God. Rojas. That was God's desire, was for us to worship him. Now, when it comes to worship, what's up, Lewis? When it comes to worship, now hear me on this. And doing God's will, we need to stop imposing our will on other people because they're not of our so-called faith or our so-called gathering or following or part of our ministry. We need to stop all that. We got enough problems and issues in the world without the church going against itself. And that's been for centuries. Churches going against themselves. But in today's society, just because someone doesn't serve God on the same day as you, don't criticize them. Don't be so harsh and what's a good word? So, well, I can't even think of a good word. It's so boggling to my mind that we as people of God can be so hard on people that don't serve God like we serve God. My thing is this: if you love God and you're serving him in whatever capacity that you're serving him and you're following the word of God the best way you know how, who am I to tell you that's right or wrong? If you have a relationship with Christ, if you have a relationship with the Father, who am I to tell you that you're doing it wrong? You can serve God every day of the week, Monday through Monday. You can serve God. God's will is for us to worship him. I don't think the moment we get to heaven that God is going to ask you, what day did you serve me on? What day did you give me praise on? God's not going to ask you that. At least that's what I'm feeling in my spirit. He's not going to ask you, what day did you serve me on? He's going to look at your track record and say, did you serve me? Did you feed the poor? Did you clothe those that didn't have any clothes? Did you house those that were homeless? Did you go visit those that were sick? And here's another thing. When I get to heaven, I'm sure that God is not going to ask me what day I served him on. But you know what I really want to hear from God? You know, it's like this. We want to hear him say, well done. Oh, we all want to hear that. Well done, that good and faithful servant. But I want God in his infinite being to lean over in his throne chair, look me straight in the eye, and then look behind me and ask, who did I bring with me? That's what I want to hear. Karen, how you doing? I want to hear God say, who'd you bring with you? So it's not about what day I serve God on. I serve God every day. People have a religion. They make it a religion on what day you serve God. Just serve him. Just worship him the best way that you know how. Stop making it a doctrine on what day you ought to serve God on. Whether it's Saturday, whether it's Sunday, just serve him. And whatever day that you and other believers come together and want to praise him together, that's on you. It's totally okay. You know, we get to this place to where we want to condemn people because they don't serve him on the same day that we serve him. Is that really God's will? Truly, is that really what God desires for us as his children to debate on what day we ought to serve him on? No, every day we ought to serve God. Every day we ought to live for him. Number 4 brings me to this number 4 point. You have to seek out godly input. You have to seek out those that are godly to give you good, sound advice. You can't take advice from everybody. I'm sure that many of you have learned that by now. You cannot take advice from everyone because everyone doesn't have the wherewithal to give you the kind of advice that you need. And that's close friends and family. In finding God's will for all of our lives, the one key component here is seeking out good, godly advisors in your life. Whoever that might be, you should have at least 3 to 4 good, godly mentors in your lives. At least 3 to 4. You know, in the business world, in the business sector, they always talk about and promote mentors. Gotta have a mentor. Gotta have a mentor. Gotta have a mentor. You know what? Sometimes those mentors don't come cheap. I went to a seminar. Christine and myself went to a seminar, and they were talking about you need mentors for this, you need mentors for that. We're agreeable. Yeah, we need good mentors. But you know what? It was $40,000. I was like, $40,000? I'm going to give you $40,000 to mentor me? Seriously? But I understand that in order to get in a level of success that you desire in the business realm, you need those that are already successful, right? You need good mentors that will take you under their wings and they will teach you and instruct you on how to be successful and what to look for. You know, those different hurdles and obstacles, they'll teach you how to overcome them. Kind of sounds spiritual, don't it? This is why we have the Bible. This is why we have spiritual leaders, because those spiritual leaders, they will take you under, they should hopefully take you under their wings and teach you and instruct you and allow you to see certain obstacles that are coming your way and how to avoid them. So if you don't have at least 3 to 4 spiritual, good, godly advisors in your life, I highly recommend that you seek them out right away. Seek them out and then interview them. You know, put you some questions down. You know, treat it like a job. You know, they're interviewing to advise you on your life. See where their lives have been, where their lives have come from. How successful are they? How do they handle certain spiritual turmoils in their lives. You know, that's important to know. If somebody is going to advise you on your life spiritually, you need to know how they handle certain things in their lives spiritually. So especially when it comes to planning your work in the ministry, you really need good advisors that can give you sound wisdom and sound advice on what God desires for you. That's why there's messengers in the body of Christ, to give you messages from God, to give you instructions from God. Yes, God is still speaking to man. God is still speaking to man. Even if you're planning something on your job, you're still going to need people that you can trust, that will advise you in your business realm. Gotta have it. It's very important. So you need to understand that you are basically a composite. Now look at this. When you think about a composite of who you are and what you're made of, do this for me. Here's a little exercise for you. I did this on yesterday when I spoke this message. I said, close your eyes. Everybody, close your eyes. If you're not driving, don't close your eyes. If you're driving, don't close your eyes now. But if you're at the office, if you're at home, if you're in a quiet place, do this for a quick second, quick minute. Close your eyes. And once you close your eyes, this is what I want you to do. I want you to think about the 5 people you are around the most. Okay? Close your eyes and think about the 5 people that you are around the most. Okay? If you haven't closed your eyes, but if you're visualizing that, or you're visualizing the 5 people that you hang around with the most, okay? Now that you have those people in mind, let's think of this. Are those 5 people broke? Because if those 5 people are broke, guess what? You more than likely going to be the 6th one. Those 5 people are broke, you basically going to be the 6th one. Here's the other thing. Here's the other thing. Are those 5 people negative? Are those 5 people critical? Are those 5 people gossipers? Chances are, if they are, you're going to be the same way. Because you have to understand that you are basically a composite of 5 people that you hang around with the most. People that you give most of your time with, you spend most of your time with, you give most of your time to, you are a composite of that atmosphere. You're a composite of those people. So you really have to look at the 5 people that you are hanging around with the most. Where are they going in life? What are they doing in the present? What are they doing to change their future? You might need a new 5. You might need a new 5. If they're all broke, if they're all disgruntled, if they're all unhappy, if they're all negative, they're all gossipers, they're all complainers, guess what? You're going to be sucked right into that vacuum and you're going to become what they are. But here's a chance for you to stop hanging around with those same old 5. Stop hanging around with those same old people and change who you're hanging around with. Find some people that are smarter than you. Find some people that are wiser than you. Find some people that are happier than you. Find some people that have more money than you. Because what that does is elevate your thinking. It elevates your attitude. It elevates your mindset. So now, those 5 that you used to hang out with, they still negative. They still unhappy. Now they're talking about you. See how that works? If you know that they're talking about people while you're with them, guess what they're doing when you're not with them? They're talking about you. So if you choose to surround yourself with godly advisors, they will be instrumental in helping you to discern God's plan for your life. But if you surround yourself with people who are not in tune with God, oh, that's very dangerous. You don't want to be around people that are not in tune with God. You want to be around people that are in tune with God, that can hear the voice of God, that can hear the discerning voice of God and let you know, okay, baby, that's a good idea, that's a good plan, but let me share something with you that God desires in that plan, right? So you need to have those that are spiritually in tune with God. Your hope of finding God's best for your life will be greatly diminished when you find someone that's not in tune as opposed to someone that is in tune. If you're around those people that are spiritually weak, the chances of you finding the best that God has for you diminishes. All of it diminishes. You don't want that. Here, Proverbs 11:14 says, where there is no counsel, the people fall, but in the multitude of counselors, there is safety. There's safety in the multitude of counselors. Those that are smarter than you, those that are more intellect, more intelligent, more wise. Those are the kind of people that you want to be around. If you're the smartest person in the room, you need a new room. You need to go to another room. If you're the brightest one in the room, you need to go to another room. If you're doing all the talking, you're doing all the instructing, you need to go to another room where there's people that are smarter than you so you can learn from them. The church, let's talk about the church a little while. The church is really designed to help you, okay? That's what it's really designed to be, is to help you. But I know and I understand that there are some churches that aren't designed for greatness. You know why they're not designed for greatness? Because they're more apt on staying in the present than moving into the future. They're more inept in staying in the way it used to be than the way it ought to be. And so what's happening is, because they're not offering innovative ideas and they're not offering innovative things for the community, people don't want to stay. It's like, there's nothing going on here. There's nothing happening here. You know, you got sound thinkers and you have innovative thinkers. You have millennials that are thinking more about, you know, this has to be more for me and where I'm going in my future. That's important to understand that. People need to know where you're going. People need to know that you have a vision. Where there's no vision, the people perish. If your church is filled up with nothing but old people, you really got to think, is my church living or dying? Is my church growing? If there's no young people in the church, your church is not growing. But where there's youthfulness in the church, there's life. There's growth in that church. So listen, here's an important thing to understand about finding a church that has innovative ideas and greatness, and those that are locked in the past and don't want to move into the future. Man, that's a sad thing to me, that they don't want to advance. They want to stay right where they are. We've been doing it this way for the last 60 years and we're not going to change. Well, you're not going to grow either. I would encourage you to find a church that is teaching the whole Word of God, and that you witness all the gifts of the Spirit being activated in that church. All the gifts of the Spirit are being utilized, are being active in that church. That's what's important, is to be a part of a church that's working in the body, working things of God, and the Bible is alive and well in that church. There is excitement about kingdom building and moving into the future. Darren, what's up? That's why we need to be in a church that's innovative and going somewhere and excited about the future. The more you involve yourself with the community of believers, the greater your chances are that you'll find godly men and women who can help you discern God's will for your life. If we're walking closely with God and we're walking closely with the Lord and truly desiring His will, And we want his will for our lives. Kathy, how are you? If we're truly doing this, God will place his desires in your heart. Oh, that's a beautiful thing. When you know that God will place his desires in your heart. How do I know this? Because Psalms 37:4 says, delight yourself in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. What are some of the desires that you have? When you give yourself to the Lord, God will start revealing himself and his plans for you in your life. It's just that, seems like just that easy, right? But it's really not that easy when you really think about it, because now you have to give up self. You have to give up some things. You got to get out of self and you got to get into his will. A lot of people don't want to do that because they're comfortable and happy with where they are in life. They say, I don't need God. I've done this by myself. No, you haven't done it by yourself. God has always been there. God reigns on the just as well as the unjust. Yeah, there are people that are not believers that are truly blessed. Look at Hollywood and all the debauchery and all the stuff that goes on in Hollywood. I've been there. I was in Hollywood working in the industry for 10 years. I know all the depravity that goes on behind the scenes. It's crazy. It's sick. And that's the kind of atmosphere that people are gravitating to because of the kind of shows that they watch on TV. But he says that God will place his desires in your heart. The key is wanting God's will, not our own will. That's the key right there. Do you really want God's will? Do you really want what God desires to have for you in your life? That's all a part of these 8 vital keys of knowing what God's will is for your life. That was number 4. Wednesday, we're going to talk about number 5. Pay attention to how God has created you. Oh, yeah. Pay attention to how God has created you. That's what we're going to deal with on Wednesday. I appreciate you guys coming in today. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me on this Monday. Maybe on your lunch break, you're trying to get in a little motivation. I want to build you up. I want to encourage you. I want to enlighten you. I want to bless you. And I pray that God blesses you today. I pray that God be with you today in all your decision making. That God will give you sound counsel. That he'll give you godly advice. That he will send to you people that will give you godly advice on some of the decision that you have made or about to make. That God will continue to work in your life as never before. Open up doors that seem shut in your face. Only God can open those doors. There are times when God will open doors and there are times when God will close doors. We have to look at it in a positive way. Why did he close the door? Because it wasn't for you at that time. Why did he open this door? Because it was the perfect time for you to walk through it. All right, this is your boy Eminem. I appreciate you guys coming in on this Monday for this Monday's Treadmill Motivation. 8 vital keys to knowing what God's will is for your life. Remember, follow us on all of social media. Life's Word Ministry. On Twitter, it's Life's Word Men, M-I-N. But all the social medias, it's Life's Word Ministry. You want to contact us at lifeswordministry@gmail.com. You know how we do it. We're just doing what God has designed us to do. Working and walking in his will. All right, guys. I appreciate you guys. I'm about to get up off this thing, get cleaned up so I can start work, right? So I can get my day started. You guys have an awesome, productive day, prosperous day. All right, Christine, I love you, baby. I'll talk to you soon. Talk to you guys later. See you guys on Wednesday. Remember, love God, love yourself, and by all means, love others. Live, hope, and change. All right, you guys. Peace out. See you guys on Wednesday. Be blessed.